This is Lewis with Nuke the Fridge. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, we're here getting ready for the release of A Quiet Place Day One. Now, this is a digital release, of course, and then eventually the Blu-ray. What are you most excited about people, what they're going to be able to see with those releases?
I'm most excited about the behind the scenes featurettes. A lot of things. I didn't go to film school, so my film school was watching featurettes and all the behind the scenes stuff for movies on DVDs. So I'm excited to kind of share some of those hurdles with people of how we made New York work and how we made these kind of epic moments happen. And then I'm also really excited to share some of those little deleted scenes that you have to take out for pacing reasons or whatever that I think are beautiful and beautifully performed. But yeah, I love giving people kind of a glimpse into what it took to make the movie.
Sweet. As far as storyline's concerned, because obviously you know this franchise has a massive following and people speculate about what's going on and stuff like that. There's a lot of questions that aren't really answered. Do you know them as a director? Like, for example, where the alien or whatever they are, the angels or whatever they're calling them online came from. Do you know those answers before you start directing these?
Yeah. I mean, some of them, like John had opened up about some of the stuff about that in interviews about how he saw these creatures as coming from another planet where the planet was destroyed and they were kind of cast out across the galaxy. So I know some of the basics. I have my own sort of like theories on it that I've talked to John about, and just some things that I just kind of keep in my head is like, okay, this makes sense to me in this way. But I also think one of the things that makes these movies work is that you don't know too much about the monsters. I think if you just knew everything, they would be less scary, they would be less interesting. Like you want some mystery as well. And if it were just like a nature documentary about these creatures, it's not going to be the same.
That's true because a lot of horror movies, which I'm a fan of, once you know the answer of the origins of whatever the evil entity is, there it gets kind of sometimes,
It's
right?
never as cool as your imagination.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you what everyone's thinking when they watch the movie. That cat. So is there multiple cats? Is that cat CG? Is it a real cat? Because I'm hearing rumors that cat's like a prima donna and very hard to work with. Are those rumors true?
No, that's not true. The truth is the cat is not CG. It was really important to me to have a real cat, so that you really kind of believed in this character of Frodo and his relationship with Sam. And that cat was played by two cats, Schnitzel and Nico, because you kind of need two so that if one gets tired, you can switch it out. But I didn't want to have too many cats because then you sort of lose that feeling of like, oh, I'm looking at this same animal. And it's all about really like creating a believable character. And I joke sometimes that Schnitzel was the prima donna one. It's not really true. They were both really hardworking. Schnitzel was the kind of hero cat that we found, and I just loved his look. And he had this kind of like street savvy New York cat feeling. And then Nico was an all white cat that we dyed to look like Schnitzel. And Schnitzel was usually kind of our close up cat, and then Nico was our more like he needs to run from this point to that point. The sort of he was our I don't know our stunt cat or something. So the sort of joke is that Schnitzel's the kind of prima donna close up glam cat, and Schnitzel's and Nico's the workforce. But they were both pretty amazing,
All
and
cats are prima
uh,
donnas, so I'm hearing they
yeah,
want like
yeah,
there a lot
they're
of
gonna do
demands
what
for
they
their
want to
next
do.
movie.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Look, as far as like practical effects versus CG, how did that work out for this film? Like, uh, are you more of a practical effects guy, CG guy? And what did we see in the film? Would you say when the monsters were on screen?
Yeah, I mean, I love both. I do love practical effects. I mean, for a movie like this that, we shot it in London and it's supposed to look like New York and then it has tons of creatures, you're gonna have to lean on CGI. Thankfully, we had ILM, which is just the best in the business. And the great thing about them and Malcolm Humphreys, our VFX supervisor, was that he's not just like, yeah, we'll fix it in VFX. It's like, okay, what is the best way to do this? What can we do practically? Like this explosion and this dust and these foot hits and things like that. And then what can we do to augment it with visual effects? So it's about always having kind of a conversation between the two. So you're not leaning too heavily on one or the other.
Yeah, and then my last question, because I'm out of time here, is what was your main inspiration like for this type of film? Do you love horror? Do you like monster features? Which one is your favorite one?
I mean, I love all sorts of movies. Weirdly, the comparison that we often talked about for this movie was Children of Men. I know that's not really a horror or monster movie, but it has this really strong sense of kind of being boots on the ground in this sort of gritty world that's like swirling around you and big things are happening, but you're just a person. and kind of trying to capture a little bit of that feeling in this city destruction movie was really important to me.
Great. Thanks for the wonderful film. We loved it. I watched it with my mom and we loved it.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right, buddy. See you soon.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.